Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to another math class. I am Miss Taylor, your math teacher. Alrighty, so today we are going to do like we normally do. Whoops. We are going to look at our materials to make sure we're ready for class. Do we have our fact practice packet? Got mine right here. Do we have our textbook? Let's see, I've got mine. It's right under here. There it is. Workbook, check. Paper or whiteboard or both. And a pencil, and we also want to keep our place value chart handy because that can really help us with comparing and ordering numbers and writing 3-digit numbers and number patterns and all those good things. Alrighty, so today we have our fact practice we're going to work on. We are going to look at our textbook, do some practice problems today. We're going to do a little bit of reviewing today. We've been learning a lot the past couple of weeks, and especially the past few days. So we're going to do a little bit of practice, a little bit of review, and then next week we're going to have a little test to see if we're kind of understanding what we've been learning, and then we'll kind of move on. And if it looks like we need a little bit more practice, that's really good information for me as a teacher, so I can kind of go back and we can do some more practice if it seems like we might need that. And then we're going to do our workbook pages, and you're going to submit those to me. Alrighty. So with our fact practice packet, we are on page 11. So there is page 11. I mentioned that with our fact practice, we are trying to do these as quickly as we can, really working on memorizing our addition and subtraction facts and getting them down really fast. So again, this should just take you maybe a minute, maybe two, maybe 30 seconds. So see how quickly you can do it. I know I was trying to do mine in like less than 30 seconds. But if that's too short of time for you, try to see if you can do it in a minute or two. Okay. Alrighty, so this is our fact practice packet page for today. And you're going to do this, and then you're going to check your answers on the back. And that's really going to help your brain checking right away, getting that immediate feedback from your brain. And yeah, so let's get to it. We are going to look at a review activity in our textbook. I'm looking at page 23. You might want to follow along with me in your textbook. That would be a really prudent idea. We're going to do a few of these together. So like I said, we've been learning a lot the past few days, and that has been kind of a lot for our brains. So what's really good for our brains is to learn something and then to practice it and to review it before we move on and learn new things. So we want to make sure that we are learning prudently and wisely. So the first one here, it says to write the number in words. Now I remember that we got a piece of paper that had our number words in it. Remember this paper that we got? This would be a really good paper to have right now to help you with your spelling. I mentioned that sometimes in class I ask my students to glue this into the inside cover of their workbooks. So if you did that, you might want to open up your workbook. That would help. All right, so let's do a little bit of practice here. The first one, it says here to write the number in words. So number 1A has this number, and that number is 330. So there's 3. Where's 100? 100, it's down here, and 30. All right, so for this one, we're going to write 300. Make sure you get that N in there. A few students in their homework, they wrote 100, 300, like when you have a cold, 300. So make sure you get that N in there. 330. All right, so that's how we write this first one, 330. That's how we write it in words. Let's try another one. What about this one? 144, right? So there's 100, or we can look here, 144. 4. And the interesting thing about this number, look at the number 4 has F-O-U-R, 14 F-O-U-R, but the number 40, for some strange reason, there's no U. And that is because English is a very interesting, kind of funny language, isn't it? We have all these rule breakers and exceptions to the rule. It's kind of funny. All right, so we are writing 100. Let's see, which one was it? 140. And then we put our little dash, our little hyphen, 4. So anytime you have something in the tens place and the ones place, we have to put this little hyphen there. So just like this one would be 255. Let's try that one. And when we are back in school and we start doing more spelling class, we usually put this word in the word jail. Miss Lund calls it a dungeon. I think Miss Schultz also calls it jail. But anyway, we put it in jail because it looks like the number 2, doesn't it? 200. So we put that in jail. It breaks the rule. 250 hyphen 5. So again, when we are practicing writing these numbers in words, we are also thinking about how to spell these words. So you could look at this paper. You could ask a parent or an older sibling to help you with your spelling. And then we're also thinking about making sure we have this hyphen. This is what a lot of students often forget, is that hyphen between the tens and the ones place. All right, let's do a different one. Okay, so we've practiced a few writing them in words. Now this one says write the numbers in hundreds, tens, and ones. So you might be thinking, what does that mean? Hundreds, tens, and ones. That means you're going to write the number and say how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones. So for example, you could think about, well, for each number, you're going to have blank hundreds. You're going to have some hundreds. You're going to have blank tens. You're going to have some tens. And you're going to have some ones. So if we were looking at, let's try this one. If we had this number, 720, we would say, oh, well, there are 7 hundreds, right? There's a 7 in our hundreds place. How many tens are there? 2. And how many ones? 0. So that's how we would write that in hundreds, tens, and ones. 7 hundreds, 2 tens, 0 ones. Now what about, what about this number? How many hundreds? Tens? Ones? Yeah, nice job. This is 9 hundreds, 0 tens, 0 ones, all right? So that is how you do that. You're going to write them in hundreds and tens and ones. Let's take a look at number 3. It says write the numbers. So for this one, they are giving us some numbers in either words or hundreds, tens, and ones, and we're going to write the numbers in digits. That's what that means. So for example, this one, number 3A, 704, we would write 704 or 704. So 704 is 704. Now let's pop down to this one. 3 hundreds, 4 ones. 3 hundreds, 4 ones. So would that be this one? Or this one? Got my glare again. Let me hold that up. There we go. So they want us to do 3 hundreds, 4 ones. What do you think? This one, right? This one has 3 hundreds, 4 ones. This one has 3 hundreds, 4 tens. So be careful with that one. All right. What about This one, number 4. So number 4 says, which sign should you use? So this is the one where we have the greater than or less than symbol. In other words, this is the kind of the open mouth Pac-Man alligator monster guy who wants to eat the bigger number. So let's look at number 4A. So number 4A, actually I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard so we can see it a little bit bigger. It says 439 on one side, and then we have our circle. This is where we're going to put our greater than, less than symbol. And then on the other side it says 426. So remember, when we're trying to think about which one is bigger, which one is smaller, let's first look in the hundreds place. Interesting. They're both the same. So when they're both the same, then we need to look at the tens place. And here we have 3 tens, and over here we only have 2 tens, and we know that 3 is bigger than 2. So our Pac-Man alligator monster guy wants to eat the bigger one. This one would be bigger. If it helps you, you could also circle the bigger number. That sometimes helps me. And then if you want to draw some teeth, you could do that. You could do your little face to help you remember. And then 439 is greater than 426. Okay, so let's try one more of those. What about if we have, how about this one? We have 290 on one side, and then we have 300 on the other. Well, let's see. This side has 200, and this side has 300. So our little alligator monster Pac-Man guy wants to eat the bigger one. So I'm going to circle this number because 300 is bigger than 200. And then I'm going to draw my Pac-Man monster alligator guy. I'm going to draw some teeth. I'm going to make my face. Maybe I'll draw a little bit of hair. I can even write, yum, I want to eat you, right? So he wants to eat the bigger one. And how we read that, now because the bigger one is over here, we're starting with the little number, the smaller number. We read it as 290 is less than 300. All right, so let's see. I think the rest of these we shouldn't really have too much trouble with. Let's try one more. So we have some numbers here, and our numbers look like this. Let's see, we have this number, 410, 140, 401, and 104. Okay, so we have these numbers, and in our textbook, they would like us to put them in order, begin with the smallest. Well, let's look in the hundreds place. Here we have a 4, 1, 4, 1. Okay, so the smallest one is either going to be this one or this one. So 140, let's look now in the tens place, or 104. Well, this one has 0 tens, and this one has 4 tens. So we know this one is going to be smaller. Okay, I'm going to erase him. I'm done with you. Done with you. Then this one. And again, we're starting with the smallest. I'm done with you. Now I just have these two left. And again, we want the smallest one. So here I have a 400, 400. Okay, they both have 400s. Let's look in the tens place. Here I have a 1. Ooh, here I have a 0. And I know 0 is less than 1. So this one would go next. Whoops. Wait a second. That's not right, Miss Taylor. This one, right? Because this one has 0 in the tens place, and this one has a 1. 401. And then that leaves, this is the biggest one, so that one would go at the end, I think. Is that right? Let me see. They wanted us to start with the smallest, to put them in order from the smallest to the biggest, or the greatest. Is that look right? Miss Taylor does make mistakes from time to time. I think I got it. I did make a mistake there, but I switched it. I think we got it. All right. Thank you for your help, second graders. Alrighty, so that is what you're going to work on. So we did a few of these together. It would be a really good idea for you to look these over. You don't necessarily have to write them all down on paper, but you should know the answers. And then your homework for today is pages 28 to 30 in your workbook. Let me show you what those look like. So here is page 28. You're going to do a little matching. So we're going to read the number. 100 plus 20 plus 3 would be 123. So you're going to do a little matching from this way of writing the number to that way. And this is kind of thinking about another way to say this is, well, we could say hundreds, tens, and ones. It's also called expanded form. It's kind of like if you took this number and stretched it out. So you're going to kind of match the expanded form to the 3-digit number. And you're going to do that all the way down. Then when you get to the next page, you're going to write the numbers. So here they have the numbers in words. You're just going to write the number in digits. So here they have 89. So you're going to take your pencil and write it in digits, 89, just like that. All right. Then let's see, when you get down here, this is going to be a little bit more challenging. You're probably going to need your paper to help you with your spelling. Miss Taylor is a little bit picky about spelling here. So with this one, you're going to write 455. So there's 455. Let's try it. 450. And we'll do that little hyphen there. 5. Nice job. All right. Then when you get down to the bottom, we're going to write greater than or less than. So again, you can think about your Pac-Man monster alligator person who wants to eat the bigger number. So let me cover this up for us. So here we have 210 on one side, 208 on the other. So you can think about which one is bigger, 210 or 208. They both have 2 in the hundreds place, but this one has a 1 in the tens place, and this one has a 0 in the tens place. So we know this one is bigger. Wants to eat the bigger one, remember? Draw your little Pac-Man face eating the bigger one. Let's look at one more, because this is kind of confusing sometimes. Okay, now we have 399 on the left side and 402 on the other. So right away, if we look in the hundreds place, here we have a 3 and here we have a 4. And we know that 4 hundreds are bigger than 3 hundreds. So now my little alligator Pac-Man guy wants to eat this one. This one is bigger. And again, if it helps you, circle the bigger number. This one is bigger. If I want to do that up here, this one's bigger. But here, 402 is bigger. I'm going to do my little Pac-Man alligator guy. And he wants to eat the bigger one. Okay? So I'm going to let you keep going with this page. There's one more page I wanted us to look at before we go here. And that is page 30. So on page 30, it says here to arrange these numbers in order, begin with the smallest. Oh, my lights went out. All right, so that what they mean by that is these numbers over here. We have 904, 908, 899, and 910. So we want to write them in order beginning with the smallest. So let's look in the hundreds place. 900, 900, 800, 900. So we can see that they're all in the 900s except for this one. So this one, 899 would be the smallest one. Okay, and then you're going to continue with what's the next smallest one? the next smallest, and then you're going to end with the biggest one. All right. I wanted to tell you about this one because you might not have seen this kind of a picture before. It says write the missing numbers to complete these regular number patterns. So what they're doing here is some of the numbers go this way and some of the numbers go this way. So some of the numbers go across and some of the numbers go down. So you need to think about what's the pattern. So what's the pattern as they're going across? And I like to draw arrows. And I can see here that the pattern is that it's getting bigger. As I go this way, the numbers are getting bigger by, let's see, 996, 997. They're getting bigger by 1. So I'm going to write a little +1. They're getting bigger by 1. So I know that this next number is going to be 998, right? And if I go over here, 994 plus 1 is 995. Okay, so that's what we know the number pattern for when we're going across this way. Now, when we're going down, it's a little different. When we're going down, I'm going to draw some new arrows here to help me. What's happening now? Wait a second, 995, 985, and we have some spaces, 955, 945. So as I go down, these numbers are getting smaller. I'm going to do a little minus sign here. They're getting smaller by how much? By 10, right? It's going 955 to 945. So as you go down on this little chart here, you're going down by 10. So 995, 985, 975. Okay, I'm going to let you finish, but this is often kind of a tricky thing for students. So the pattern, you're going down, you're subtracting by 10. As you go across, you're adding 1. And the same thing works for down here. So here you have 955, 956, 957, 958, just like that. Okay? All right. I think the rest of the page should be not too tricky for you. But if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, mathematicians, and I will see you again soon.